Akashvani.
Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.
Hello there and welcome to this edition of Radioscope. This evening, on the occasion of Doctors' Day, we have an interview with young doctors, Dr. Madhuri H.N. Talking to her is Dr. Sanjana Kangal on the topic Beyond the White Coat, addressing the mental health of women doctors in India.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sanjana Kangal, Senior Resident at Telemanas Karnataka NIMHANS, and today I'm here with Dr. Madhuri, Assistant Professor Telemanas Apex Center NIMHANS. I would also like to add Dr. Madhuri has completed her postdoctoral fellowship in women's mental health. So today we are here to talk about a very important topic, that is beyond the white coat, addressing the mental health of women doctors. Isn't stress very common when it comes to doctors?
I would like to start saying that medicine is a very, very demanding field. While all doctors face stress, I think women doctors carry additional burden. Microaggressions are very subtle, like the patients questioning their expertise or preferring a male doctor. Here, I would like to cite two examples. When I work in the hospital setting, many times I have been addressed as sister, not as doctor. That shows how they undervalue women doctors in the hospital settings. And I have also noticed how they call sir or doctor to the male doctors. And another example, when I have actually interviewed patient, I have assessed, I have started the treatment. So at the end, they ask, can I see a senior doctor? You can see how women doctors are undervalued and under-recognized at their workplace. I think these kind of repeated experiences can reduce anyone's confidence. And also, it often goes unreported, unrecognized, as I said. Women are undervalued professionally and often perceived as less competent than the male counterparts. And there is a lot to discuss on unequal pay, limited opportunities for the career advancement.
Can you tell me a little bit about gender roles and how would that affect the women doctors' well-being, especially in a country like India?
Getting promoted to senior positions are often showed in favor of men, leading to fewer women doctors in leadership roles. Actually limits the mentorship opportunities for the junior female doctors, especially in the medical field. Women doctors are often stereotyped as more suited for nurturing specialities like pediatrics or gynecology. Again, speaking about the gender roles, especially in India, I think we see even after work, when you have attended a busy OPD or you have attended a emergency call, emergency duty, the woman gets back home and gets back on her toes for her house responsibilities. Definitely this adds to the mental fatigue of the women, leaving a little time for rest or self-care. I think it's an invisible burden that contributes significant to the emotional strain. As I was speaking about the promotions, it's mainly being favored to men. I think it's during that 30s, the initial 30s or the late 30s, when women has a child and she has an opportunity for promotion. So where she's on maternity leave, and in many places that is not being considered and she's not being favored because she's just delivered the baby and she cannot actually report to work immediately. I have seen a lot of patients who actually suffer from premenstrual syndrome and even in severe forms where they have to be treated. Actually, it's quite severe. But I think that is again being underplayed, underreported, and women actually face a lot of stigma in reporting that. Like, what will my colleagues think about it? Also, I would like to quote a study which was done among 196 women who were physicians. Rates of stress was quite alarming. So almost 50% of the women had high stress, 44% were mentally tired, 17% of the women took antidepressant drugs, 73% of the women reported verbal abuse at workplace, 33% of women reported physical assault at workplace. So when they also did a focus group discussion, the main themes which came across was high expectations from their roles, having multiple roles as we discussed at workplace and home, and also definitely stress in the work environment.
The statistics seem to be a little bit concerning regarding the well-being of the women doctors at the workplace. How about we speak a little bit about their safety? So do you think women doctors are facing a lot of safety concerns at their workplace too?
Definitely yes for this question. I'm sure we have heard about the horrendous crime which happened in Kolkata recently, and there were multiple strikes related to it. Yes, I think from unsafe night shifts to harassment in various forms from colleagues and patients, these safety concerns create a chronic stress and can lead to hypervigilance, anxiety, depression, and trauma in women. Men and women share physical workload in the same way, but it's just that we don't recognize the invisible emotional strain which women experience.
So do you think there are any positive changes that are being made at the workplace to support women doctors in terms of all this?
I think over the past few years, there has been growing recognition both within the medical fraternity and among the policy makers. So there have been positive steps and emerging trends. I would like to say it's not uniform across the hospitals or across the institutions. I think we have a long way to reach there. At the end, I would like to add a few words. I think behind the white coat is a human being who deserves rest, kindness, and understanding. I think Doctor's Day, it's just not a celebration but a commitment. Let this Doctor's Day be more than symbolic. Let it mark the beginning of honest conversations, honor their struggles, their silence, their emotional resilience, silently contributing to the society and to the humanity.
And now joining us over phone, we have Dr. Archana M.H., a native of Karnataka, presently resident doctorate of medicine at King Edward Memorial Hospital, Mumbai, also contributing to the topic Beyond the White Coat, addressing the mental health of women doctors in India.
Hi, I'm Dr. Archana and I'm currently doing my second year of super specialization in endocrinology. I want to share something very real. It's something that goes unspoken generally. It's about the emotional and mental health struggles that a lot of the women doctors in India face every day. I don't want to be the person who starts off with a quote, but it's a quote that stayed with me. It is a quote that a friend told me a while back. There are three classes of human beings: men, women, and women physicians. It's something that Sir William Osler said. He's one of the founding figures of modern medicine. Unfortunately, he meant it ironically. It was his way of expressing doubts that people held at that time about women in medicine. Even Osler changed his mind eventually, over time, once he came to deeply respect the strength, capability, and dedication of women doctors. And that shift in perspective, it's still happening today, and I'm very glad that it's happening. But being a woman in medicine isn't just about treating patients or learning advanced procedures. It's also about constantly balancing competing demands. We work very long hours, 24 hours, sometimes even 36 hours straight in a lot of very busy branches. When we are visibly tired or emotionally drained, there's very little room to step back or take care of personal emergencies. The system expects us to keep going no matter what. Then come the assumptions. There are some quiet and some loud. Many of us are very routinely mistaken for nursing staff. It happens on an everyday basis. Some patients question our decisions. And when it comes to promotions or leadership roles, male peers often move ahead faster, even when qualifications are equal. It's not always overt, but it's there, and it weighs on you. And it gets even more complicated when you take into perspective the life beyond the hospital. Outside the hospital, things don't get any easier. There's an expectation to switch instantly from doctor to daughter, wife, or mother. You might step out of an ICU and 10 minutes later be expected to pack a child's lunch or manage household responsibilities. Society sends us confusing messages to make it a lot worse. If we stay late at work, we are neglecting family. If we take time off, we are not committed enough to our careers. Either way, it can feel like we are falling short all the time. These pressures keep adding up. Burnout is so common, anxiety and depression are very real, and it's a lot more common in women physicians than in the male physicians. And many of us have quietly wondered whether continuing in medicine is worth the cost to our mental health. But what's harder is talking about it. Seeking therapy can still feel risky. There is a lingering fear of judgment from peers. Seeking therapy can still feel risky. There's a lingering fear of judgment from peers, from seniors, from society. So instead of speaking up, many of us choose to stay silent. Not because we're okay, but because silence feels a lot safer. But silence doesn't have to be the only option. What can help is having access to mental health care, which is truly private and free from stigma, something that doesn't jeopardize careers but helps sustain them. We also need flexibility at work that includes fair promotions, reasonable hours, and recognition of the unseen work that women do beyond the hospital. And most important, we need connection, a network. We need safe space where women doctors can talk honestly and mentor each other, and also remind one another that you're not alone in this. Medicine is more than just a profession. It's a calling. But no one should have to sacrifice their well-being or stay silent just to keep doing what they love. Osler's words, they were once meant as a joke. Now they serve as a reminder of just how far women in medicine have come and of how much further we can go together. The conversation about the mental health of women doctors in India is not just important, it's urgent. And I believe that by speaking up, we can start to change the society and the story, especially for ourselves and for the next generation of women in medicine. And I also would like to wish all doctors a very happy Doctors' Day. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, doctors. We addressed the need for self-care of young women doctors in India. And dear listeners, that brings us to the end of this edition of Radioscope. We hope you enjoyed your evening with us. The program was presented and produced by Rosalind Matthew. This was a presentation of Akashvani Bengaluru, brought to you by Akashvani Delhi.
Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.